And Chris is going to briefly explain for us an experience he had as a young man taking classes, attending acting school. He made a realization, Chris. What was that realization?
Okay, the realization, first of all, let me give you a background that when I was a child, I was very persecuted at schools, and I received the ire and anger of other kids my own age and became very cynical about humanity. And this was intensified when I went to acting school, and I had to say things that I was given to say in front of these mass audiences. I was scared to death. I had terrible stage fright. And I still considered the possibility of going into theater until I came across Robert Flaherty and his family, who manifested what would be accepted equally much by people like Gandhi, Mother Teresa, and other great dignitaries, that life is about immediate, generous engagement with reality. Generous, meaning that you are there to nurture and to help other life. Now, Hollywood has nothing to do with that, because Hollywood is a totally acquisitive game of entertaining people to pull the pall of tedium and boredom that they have accumulated in their lives by doing things they don't like to do, and by giving them a kind of a hypnotic escape from that in some kind of entertainment. And this does not nourish. This is a drug. Yes. It's not as bad as heroin. It won't kill you when you're 35, but it damages the sense of engagement with reality because it makes you egocentric. And most Hollywood actors, as far as I'm concerned, are either pretentious or very close to it. I mean, they can't get away from trying to seek to get other people to admire them and love them. And that is not a stepping stone to real engagement with other people. You're basically being a pawn in this acquisitive, trade-dominated world of relationships, which are all about money, power, and success. And those are not good values.
Granting that, of course, there are virtuous people, there is virtue existing there, and shall we say that luminous mount up above. But nonetheless, your experience has been that in terms of your expectation of what fulfills you and what is essential for a good life, you don't find that Hollywood really feeds that in you, which is an immediate engagement with reality, which is essential to true communion with God and with and with creation in a sense.
And then of course the other thing, which is a footnote to that, is what about the poorest of the poor? Who are the poorest of the poor? People in insane asylums, people in convalescent homes, people who are stuck in hospitals with no prospect of going home to their families and enjoying what we consider a normal life within 5 or 6 years. They're going to be there for a long time. These are the poorest of the poor. These people are on a desert island of isolation. They have to listen to loudspeakers announcing that the nurse has to go here or there. The nurses are constantly under somebody's command. There's no sense of freedom as we enjoy it in normal society in the United States. Now, this is very disorienting because we're not prepared to go into this kind of environment as a kind of sacrifice for something. We're just thrown into it. We're scuttled. I mean, it's one thing to put on a uniform on somebody and send them off to the battlefield to rescue people who are dying in the trenches, with a cross over their heart, and then, congratulate them and give them a medal at the end. I mean, yes, they've been taking risks, but it's still worth it. Yes. They can't describe any worth to this. The guy is basically just closeted in a kind of sardine can environment where they don't have the kind of freedoms that they've been expecting for the last 30 years.
So to recapitulate, we might say that while there is much good to be found in environments such as Hollywood and the like, the world of entertainment and histrionics, that one needs a grounding in reality, in what truly constitutes the essence of human existence, the here and the now, the real.
To answer that question, I would have to amend your treatment of the subject, because I would not say that in the present environment there is a lot of good in Hollywood. What I will say is that theater has a potential of carrying sublime values to the public. It has a potential, but that potential is only realized at times when the people live already within a kind of community of spiritual values. And one of the things that Eleanor Duse, who is one of the most famous actresses of Italy in the 30s believed was that the star system is right, that actors should act in community, which means that there's a spiritual purpose that unites them, that they're trying to bring the message of Christ, the cross, back to people in their hearts in order that their works as actors would glow